Wow. I I don't even know. I have so much to say, but it feels really weird. We'll talk about it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the channel if you're new. Mike Babcock fired by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Honestly, when he got hired, I thought this guy was going to bring the Leafs a cup. But nope. Wow. I honestly can't believe it. All right, let's see who joins. Cybershade right off the bat. TDC Flaw, Galley, TBC, Luke is in here. Nick, TJ, Nathaniel Carter, Tony. Wow. We're gonna go through it a bit. If you guys haven't watched my video yet, that was my initial reaction. Honestly, it's the weirdest thing. I was preparing for a different video, and I was literally right about to start filming it, recording it, and my phone starts going off, and I'm like, "What's up?" Thinking maybe it's like a Gaudreau trade or some kind of trade, right? Didn't think Babcock was gonna get fired today. Look at my phone's buzzing, and Chris Johnson's retweeting it. Elliot Friedman's retweeting it. But I hadn't seen the tweet, and I see Leafs PR, and I'm thinking there's a big blockbuster or something. But man, Babcock's gone. He's done. But we got 28 people in here. If you could please drop a like, we're gonna go through it, talk about it. Endred's in here. Yeah, I'll probably be streaming later tonight. Not sure for the whole game now, but Lawrence Walsh says, "Damn." Let's see if there's any other tweets coming out here that I missed. So Bob McKenzie, Brendan Shanahan and Kyle Dubas told Mike Babcock he was fired today. Shanahan flew to Arizona from Toronto today to be there. It was Shanahan, of course, who hired Babcock. Drager says it's reasonable to assume Mike Babcock likely believed the clock started ticking when Lou Lamoriello was replaced. Shanahan's quote, "At this time, we collectively felt it was best to make a change. Keefe's record with the Marlies in terms of development and on-ice success during his time has compelled us to feel he is the right person to take us to the next stage in our development." Yeah. That's most of the stuff that's come out. Crazy. Again, if you are new, please subscribe. Nick, man. This guy reaches out to me on Instagram and wants to spam on the chat. Whatever, we'll just hide him out. All right, Nick S says Babcock wouldn't be on the market long, even though I have always said Babcock is overrated as a head coach. Why? You think he's going to... Man, but the thing is with Babcock, with how he is he going to get hired as an assistant coach? Like, would he take on that role? We have 34 in the chat again. Please drop a like. Welcome. Elias says it's about time. Mitch is in here. Ask Rex. Yeah, they had to do something. Your Queen's in here. Batman the Gamer's in here. Will there be a press conference for Sheldon? Honestly, probably not an official press conference. I think, and it's probably a good thing for the Leafs that they keep it low key. They're gonna go into Arizona. Keefe's gonna be, expected to be behind the bench. So I think at most we're gonna just get the pregame interview or just an interview during the day tomorrow. If something happens today, I would be very surprised because the news just came out. I would expect something tomorrow. Matthew Vanderwall's in here, or Sean. Yeah, guys, I just thought, I was like, you know what? This is pretty big news. I decided to go live. But yeah, man, he has definitely been one of the huge problems for this team this year. And again, it comes down to the players in a big way. But the decision-making in terms of a few losses, which a few losses can be a big deal for a team that's that's on a slump. Like if you look at that Flyers loss, if you look at the loss against the New York Islanders, if you look at the loss against the Chicago Blackhawks, it comes down to game management. And whether it was pulling the goalie with 3 minutes left with no possession, or it was putting the fourth line out after a key goal, that's exactly what happened last night. You score the goal to cut it down to 3-2, I believe, and then you put the fourth line out there, and then the fourth line's out there with whatever it was, 5 minutes left. Ridiculous. Yeah, Luca, I think, you know what, I was very passionate and very I'm just going to say angry. After the Leafs Game 7 loss, I thought, I mean, compared to the loss before, yes, they lost 7-4, but at least there was an effort there. Yes, they choked. But this past Game 7, 2019, it just seemed like they threw in the towel. They hung up their skates, and I mean, they went down a couple goals, and there just wasn't really much of a pushback. And that's where I really thought the players weren't seeing eye to eye with Babcock anymore. And you're seeing the new additions. I mean, Kerfoot's done okay, but look what's happened to Tyson Barrie. And again, that I'm not going to blame Babcock for how Tyson Barrie has played, but it comes down to Matthews has looked disinterested in the last couple of games, to be honest. I mean, look at last night. There was guys flying, and to be honest, I didn't see much of Austin Matthews, and that was kind of surprising. A lot of people weren't talking about that. I wasn't seeing a lot of Matthews last night, and then Marner's out. Tavares is doing okay. I mean, again, Tavares is not going to drive your speed. I mean, Tavares, that's just not what kind of player he is. I thought Mikheyev was the one guy last night that I thought, comparatively to his last 6 or 7 games, played actually well last night. He was showing well with his speed. Hey, what's going on, Lee Dino? Yeah, and then there was a bunch of things. I mean, I don't understand what kind of message. I mean, it goes back to, I get Spezza struggled in some games, but it goes back to opening night. Scratching Spezza on opening night, family trying to watch him play for his hometown team, and Babcock just kind of pulls rank and scratches him. Like, that was the initial thing for me, and I think that was ridiculous. I think regardless of if Spezza gets scratched for games here and there, opening night, and Babcock, that's what I'm saying. Is it like an ironic thing? Babcock always saying, and you guys, you Leaf fans in here, 100% you know this, Babcock, first 3 years he's been here, before this year, he goes always, Ty goes to the veteran. I mean, you guys have probably heard that so many times for Babcock, whether it's a lineup change or it's who's on the third line versus fourth line. We've heard that so many times for Babcock. Ty goes to the veteran, and all of a sudden Babcock scratches Spezza opening night. Like, that's a small thing for me in the bigger picture, but a disrespect to Spezza, and that was just the first in a long line of things that have happened from then until now. But 51 in the chat. If you are new, please subscribe. If your subscriptions are public, your name will pop up here, and of course, drop a like. 89 Straw says, Babcock seems like the opposite of a player's coach. Has any players been really vocal in supporting Babs? And I'll say this because I've seen this commented. Again, repeat your comment if I miss it. Nick Patosha's in the chat right now. If you look at Mike Babcock and the Red Wings, yeah, he was there for obviously a while, but there was a lot of veterans there, and I think there was a lot of players that could, I think, resonate, or I think when you look at Mike Babcock and Team Canada, that's the top tier players, that's the experienced players. A lot of these players on the Toronto Maple Leafs are obviously younger, and we've seen the issues with Austin Matthews. There's been the issues with Mitch Marner, not as much obviously, mostly Matthews, and then obviously the issues with Nylander. All they've known is Mike Babcock. All they've seen is Mike Babcock, except for the times that William Nylander, or at the start when William Nylander was with the Marlies, but other than that, all three of those players, they've just known Mike Babcock. Trenton Black's in here. Shout out Steven Jack. I'm just going to give some shout outs here. T Palace, I'm doing well. How are you? Obviously, some huge news here. Defense and goaltending is still obviously a huge question mark. I think in terms of forwards, I think they could use a little bit of size, 100%. I think that's an obvious. But in terms of defense, I still think Morgan Rielly's hurt right now. I think you're missing the boat if you think Morgan Rielly's completely healthy. The Morgan Rielly I've been watching is not, and Mike Babcock said he was beat up, so I'm pretty sure Morgan Rielly's battling something, and I would be really disappointed and really pissed off, frankly, if this injury is kind of serious and he's just playing through it. I would rather Morgan Rielly sit out a few weeks or a couple weeks than have him go through something that's just going to make it worse, because obviously look at where Morgan Rielly's in his career right now. He's on the up and coming. I mean, look at his year last year. To me, he should have been in the Norris candidate. So I think get Morgan Rielly a new partner. I think Justin Hull and Muzzin were okay last night, so I think maybe you keep that together. But the thing is, and then Dermott Barrie, like, do you keep that together? Honestly, I think Barrie might not even be just a fit on this team. We'll see how he does with the new coach, but based on what we've seen from Barrie, it doesn't seem like it fits. I Again, welcome to the channel. Subscribe if you're new. Thank you for coming in, all of you. Laughter's in here, burning bricks. His team lost respect early on and he never got it back. Yeah, that's exactly what I said earlier in this video. Off the walls, that's why a huge move by Toronto, but the right one. Manuel Hernandez as well. Bye, Mike. All right, guys, I'll be live for, I think, 6 or 7 more minutes here. So if you have any more questions for me, comments, now's the time. Blake Carpenter says Minnesota. Six God says if the Leafs don't start winning after this, they will make themselves look stupid for this. Fastport says there were a number of players who would not come to Toronto because of the coach. We'll see if that changes. I don't know if I agree with that, to be honest. I think, if anything, Mike Babcock actually brought in a few players. Again, I would be one to disagree. I think a lot of people think John Tavares came for Mike Babcock being the coach. I don't think that was it at all. I think John Tavares already had something in his head once he made his decision later in the year. I think for him, it could have been Mike Babcock. It could have been Sheldon Keefe. It could have been whoever. I think he was going to Toronto. He was going to Toronto for family. He was going to Toronto to be in Toronto. Who'll be the next coach for the Marlies? Don't be concerned about that. That Marlies team is stacked. I think they could bring someone else in. Hey, Shark Legend, appreciate it. Don't be too distracted at school, though. All right, but I'm going to end the stream. Yeah, okay, a few minutes here. Rashawn says, how's the Leafs cap space? Not great, obviously, if they want to make a trade, and I'm going to talk about that if I do make my video coming up, that, someone would have to go out, and I think, if you're talking about a short-term acquisition, you're just talking about moving on from Cody Cece's $4.5 million cap hit, which, for me, is not the end of the world. Cody Cece hasn't done anything special, and, if anything, he's been probably the most negative aspect on the Leafs defense, so, yeah, you can give Tyson Barrie the heck all you want, but Cody Cece is, not good. Danny, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Chewy says, how you doing? Hot take, management is the issue, not the coach. I don't know. A lot of people hate on Dubas. Honestly, I like a lot of the moves Dubas made. Obviously, I think the center point for a lot of people and why people don't like Kyle Dubas is how he managed the contracts of the bigger stars. And for me, 100% I agree on that. On that aspect, I think for Kyle Dubas, the experience lacked in terms of bigger negotiations like that. But I think Kyle Dubas made a lot of great smaller moves, and I think that's overshadowed, obviously, by, him screwing up. Again, I think Austin Matthews, it wasn't going to go any other way. I think he was getting over $11 million after the Connor McDavid contract, Austin Matthews was getting that 100%. There's nothing you could have done about John Tavares. If you wanted to bring John Tavares in, that was the contract. He was getting offered $12 or $13 million from teams like San Jose, teams like Boston. There's nothing he could have done about that. The Mitch Marner one for me is the one he screwed up, but right now, Mitch Marner's not in this lineup, and look what happened. So again, I don't know if that's going to change with Mitch Marner still out of the lineup, but this is a start, and Mike Babcock, again, is done, and I think Sheldon Keefe will be a good presence for this team. Incredibles in here. Is this Morgan Riley's 5th head coach of the Leafs now? Oh, no, I don't think so. Morgan Riley's been here since 2014. If anything, it's been 3rd or 4th. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Carlisle, I think, was still there. So, yeah, 4th. This will be his 4th head coach, I believe. So, yeah, Morgan Riley's had 4 different head coaches with this team since 2014. But, again, obviously one being an interim. And I thought Sheldon Keefe might have been named an interim in terms of what happened with Craig Berube. But they're giving him the confidence. I think, unless I'm missing something or missing the boat on something, it looks like they gave him the official title. So I wonder if Babcock would wait for Seattle. Nick S., that's actually a good point. I didn't think about that. Maybe. That is a good point. That's actually really interesting. I wonder. Because who else is on the market in terms of a big resume? And after what happened with Gerard Gallant with Florida, and then Vegas picked him up, that's an interesting point. I wonder if Babcock would consider a job with Seattle, or I wonder if Seattle would be even interested in Babcock. Yo, Artur, what's going on? Thanks for joining. Alice says, now the Leafs will win the Cup. Yeah, I'm not going to say they will, but they still got a long ways to go to make this back. And, yeah, at the end of the day, one change like this is not going to change you from a bottom 10 team to a top 10 team. That's just not going to happen. But it's definitely, like I said, a step in the right direction in terms of change. Zach McNally's in here. All right, 2 minutes left in the stream. Any last questions? Again, if you haven't yet, please go check out my video after my stream's done. It was just a quick initial thoughts kind of thing. But again, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Drop a like. Last few questions. I'll take like a few more questions. Hey, positive vibes. Appreciate you joining. How long was the Babcock contract again? I think it'd be like halfway through, no? Maybe 3/4 through. But I think halfway through, I believe. Again, guys, I've really done no research on any of what's happened. Again, not that I need a whole lot of research because I know the basics, and it's as a Leafs fan, I can have my own reaction and my own opinion. But yeah, Sheldon Keefe, not that he has a whole lot of experience, but 3 years with the Sioux, 5 years with the Marlies if you're counting this year, so 4, and then this was his 5th, and now with the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's going to be also interesting. I mean, I don't know. We'll see if the penalty kill improves with Vanek Hakstol. I think that's a big concern for a lot of Leaf fans as well, but we'll see what happens tomorrow night against the Arizona Coyotes. A $7 donation. Thank you so much for the super chat. Positive vibes. I appreciate that. Do you think that Babcock gets hired in season or during the off season? He won't get hired in season. I think if anything, Babcock's going to take a break, chill with the fam, and just wait to see what happens in the off season, and then maybe he waits a year for the Seattle team. Joe R is in here. Welcome. Says, holy crap. 2 or 3 years left? Yeah, I figured. I mean, this is his... trying to think, is this his 4th or 5th year? This would be his 5th year because, yeah, the first year he was coach leading up into the Matthews draft, and then Capitals elimination, that was his year 2. First Bruins elimination year 3, second Bruins elimination year 4. This was his 5th year. So I believe he would have, yeah, I agree with you. I think it's 2 or 3 years after this. Ends in 2023? Okay, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 8-year contract. Yeah, so if anyone was wondering, the Marlies assistant coaches will assume the role for co-head coaches for tonight's game. All right, I think that's it. Again, I will put the link in the chat right now. If you want to go check out my initial reaction and if you're new to the channel, please please subscribe. Welcome to the channel. I'm going to put the link of my video in the chat, and yeah. Let's see. All right. All right, I'm lagging a bit, so my bad. 24/7 Sports, shout out. Will, what's going on? Welcome to the channel. Again, guys, if you are new, Edward Clark, shout out. Subscribe, drop a like. I just put the video link in the chat. I'm out of here, so hope you all have a good one. I might be releasing one more video tonight. It might be live later. I mean, obviously, this kind of slid me back for my day a bit, but I will hope to be live for at least half or third period of Montreal and Ottawa tonight. So I'd like to do different play and live streams for different games, and obviously videos every day. So again, welcome to the channel for whoever's new. Thank you for all of the people that have been here for a while supporting me. Mike Babcock fired, Sheldon Keefe, the new head coach. Crazy news for the Leafs, the NHL, and we'll see what happens moving forward for the Leafs in the standings, and if they can get back into